Hey everybody. So we're just going to wait a little bit until everybody arrives to this first time ever Facebook live chat. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, we've got one already there. So while we're waiting for everybody, I can show you that we're at the fire station, but as you can see, the bays are empty. Right as I pulled in, the guys got a call. So they're out right now. But while we're waiting, you're gonna hear them come back in. But I thought while we're waiting for everybody, I could tell you a little bit about the Milkies Moms and who we are. So the Milkies Moms are basically Helen Anderson and myself, and we were breastfeeding moms who were also inventors. I created the milk tray, and Helen created the milk saver and the Milkies Freeze. And we are basically the faces behind the Milkies line of products for Fairhaven Health. And we go to trade shows and we talk with lactation consultants, we do interviews and teach classes all about breastfeeding and empowering moms out there like yourselves to succeed in your breastfeeding journey. So I think I hear the engine coming back, so it's gonna get a little loud here for a minute. So we're gonna probably wait up. Our chief is here. So while we're waiting for more people, oh, I see a lot of people arriving. This is awesome. Okay, well, we have a few more minutes before we actually officially go live. And I'm gonna be basically talking about my breastfeeding journey and the ups and downs that I ran into being a working mom in my journey, and kind of what made me come up with the milk tray. So I'll go ahead and get started. Hi Ethan, how are you? I see you there. Give me a little likes, couple little likes. This is the first time doing this, so I'm a little nervous. Hopefully it all works out. At least we know that if this one's not good, the rest of them are gonna be a lot better as we keep going on. So, all right guys, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Tobi, and I'm one of the Milkies Moms here at Fairhaven Health. Pretty much my breastfeeding journey was filled with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of successes, and a lot of crash and burns. It's me, I'm doing a Facebook Live. It's our chief coming in. All right, so talking about my breastfeeding journey. I pretty much, when I decided to breastfeed, I was pretty much alone. My mom had never breastfed, and I have no siblings, so I didn't have any sisters that I could lean on. And I didn't have any friends at the time that had children that had breastfed. So pretty much I was surrounded by formula moms and formula history. So, but I went to some classes and I learned all about, the importance of breastfeeding, and I decided that I wanted to do that for my daughter. In talking about that, I did some classes and learned all about breastfeeding and decided, okay, well, I can do this. I mean, I'm a mom and I'm a firefighter paramedic, and I go into burning buildings and I can do this. Breastfeeding, how hard could it be? I don't need any help in doing that. And that's probably, I would say, the first, I don't want to say mistake, but it was definitely the first obstacle that got in the way of my breastfeeding journey. So I got home with my daughter, her name is Ashlyn, and those first 2 weeks, oh gosh, you moms that have been there, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Those first 2 weeks were the hardest 2 weeks of my life. They were filled with amazing moments where breastfeeding was great, and then filled with really horrible moments where I was crying and I was stressed and my baby was crying. And, I had no one to turn to. My mom, trying to be helpful, would say things like, just give the baby a bottle, it'll be fine. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to breastfeed. You're not helping me do that by suggesting a bottle. And my husband was at his, pulling his hair out, trying to help me. And he didn't really know what to do. So unfortunately, he would suggest the same thing, which made it even harder in this journey that I was trying to accomplish. I was hoping that each day would go by and it would get better, and it really didn't. Every day was a new day, except for every day I would have successes and then I would have failures. There was no like middle ground where I felt like I was definitely accomplishing something. By about 2.5 weeks, I was right about to give up when I decided, okay, you know, last ditch effort, I'm gonna call and talk to a lactation consultant, which originally I didn't do that because I thought, yeah, I don't need any help with breastfeeding. And I quickly learned, yeah, I did need help. So when I talked to her, the great thing was that she didn't suggest getting a bottle, which was great. She suggested, you know, she empowered me is what she did. She let me know that I was doing okay and that these ups and downs were part of the breastfeeding journey and that everything was doing great, and she celebrated my accomplishments and she didn't harp on my what I felt was failures. She let me know they weren't failures, they were just learning. These little speed bumps was what she used, and I thought that was a great term, little speed bumps. And she was really the lifeline that I needed. So the one thing that I would suggest to moms in your breastfeeding journeys is that if you have a mom or a sister or friends who have breastfed, that's awesome. You have that support system that you need. But if you were like me and you didn't have anybody, getting a lactation consultant is probably paramount or key to your success. Everybody has a different journey, so I'm all about, you know, we're all different and we all have different ups and downs and we all have different needs. So I don't believe in rules because rules are very black and white. I believe in guidelines, you know, breastfeeding guidelines, and I believe in sharing all of our experiences, and hopefully you gain something a little bit from my experience, just like I would gain from other experiences. So those first 2 weeks, like I said, were like, yay, and you know, but after about 2.5 weeks and having that lactation consultant really help me and give me some guidelines, I see little hearts, yay, thank you. I was able to get through it, and I kept going, and that's probably the first success that I felt. I felt so empowered by doing that. Then I kind of got a little confidence, and I started, you know, going, I've got this, breastfeeding, I've got it, it's no big deal. I did that for about 1.5 months, and then the next, I don't want to say obstacle, but the next hurdle happened, and that was going back to work. As you guys can see, or anyone who's just come on, I work for the fire department. Unfortunately, the bays are empty right now because the guys got a call, but I'm sure as we're talking, they're going to be pulling in, and you're going to be seeing some of the units, fire truck and rescue, that I work on. So I work 24-hour shifts. So I come in basically at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, and I get off at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. And I work mainly only with men. To give you an idea, like women in the workforce for the fire department, we represent 3% of the fire departments throughout the United States. So it's a lot of testosterone, not as much estrogen. And we live together. I mean, pretty much we're here for 24 hours. Hi, Desiree, thank you so much. You're awesome also. Awesome also. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it was definitely very macho. It's a very macho environment. And when I said to them, I'm going to be coming back to work, guys, and I'm going to be breastfeeding, well, really pumping, they were kind of like, what are you going to be doing? You can't see my chief. I think he's trying to stay out of the background. But they were very shocked. They weren't negative per se, but they were a little bit taken aback and not sure what to do. Their biggest concern was, how are you going to do the job if you're breastfeeding or pumping or whatever it is that you're doing? They didn't want to say anything related to, you know, breasts. They don't want to talk about that. Anything that's less macho in the world of the fire department is breasts and breastfeeding. That's probably the least macho thing that could be going on. But I let them know that, you know, I'm a mom, I want to give the best for my baby, and I'm also, I see the hearts, thank you. I'm also a paramedic firefighter, and I want to save lives, and I want to help people. That these two things were really important to me, and they make up who I am. Not just am I one or the other, I'm both. And that's definitely something I want to empower all you moms are. You guys, we are everything. We can be moms, wives, we can be firefighters, we can be, you know, we can be anything that we set our minds to. There's so many people here. I'm so glad to see everybody. You're your own limitation, so never get in the way of yourself. But all right, I digress. So let me go back to a little bit of coming back to work. Hey Kayla, nice to see you. Awesome, so glad to see you guys. All right, so coming back to work in the fire service as a breastfeeding mom, definitely I had to figure out how to do that. And I wasn't prepared. I didn't, oh, engine got another call.
Respond to chest pains located in box 2605.
So they're not gonna be back while we're here, probably, since they got another call. As you can tell, I am not on duty today because I thought coming in here and doing a Facebook Live while I'm on duty, it would have lasted a minute and I would have been out that door running on a call. Wish I could have taken you guys with me, but that'd probably be very inappropriate. But back to my breastfeeding journey. So I wasn't really prepared to go back to work. I kind of thought, you know, I'm breastfeeding, I got this. This is easy. How hard could it be? Okay, so pumping definitely is different from breastfeeding, and those of you moms that are pumping moms, give me some big thumbs up, give me some hearts, let me know that you know what I'm talking about. Pumping is definitely different from breastfeeding. It's something where you gotta learn how to do that. And you know, yeah, you put the suction cups on, and I see all those thumbs up. Way to go, pumping moms. You put those suction cups on and it does the whoosh-ah, 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 whoosh-ah. And you think, yeah, milk comes out. Yeah, it does do that, but not as maybe as successful as I thought it should. I definitely had a preconceived notion of how much milk should be coming out. I definitely don't do that. You're pumping now at work? Awesome, Kiyomi, that's great. I know you guys can do this. Don't have preconceived notions. Don't do that. You know, I think we get in the way of ourselves. You know, we decide this is what I should be doing, and this is how much should be coming out. And then we realize when that doesn't happen, we get defeated and we worry. And, you know, we think, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So another guideline, because if you guys were here in the beginning, you would have heard me say I don't believe in breastfeeding rules, I believe in guidelines. So one of those guidelines I'll throw out at you is do not preconceive how much milk should come out when you're pumping. Just kind of let it happen, and you know, each day it'll get more and it'll get better because you're kind of relearning again how to breastfeed, but you're learning how to use your breast pump. So I would say a guideline that I would recommend for moms that are going back to work is to probably start a little sooner than I did. I definitely wasn't as prepared, which made it a little bit harder when I first came back to work. So like I said, I work 24-hour shifts at the fire service, surrounded by a lot of macho men that are awesome guys. But they were trying to figure out, how are you gonna do this? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna pump. And this is where I'm talking about not following rules, but following guidelines. Everybody's breastfeeding journey is different, and everybody's breastfeeding journey is unique to them. Each of you ladies are unique, and your journeys are all different, and I celebrate that. So for me, my journey was something where I had to, when I was at work, I pumped about every hour. I see all those hearts, those are awesome, love you guys too. I pumped every hour, and you're probably thinking, what do you mean you pumped every hour? Well, I was worried. I never knew when a 911 call would come in. So I didn't want to miss, a pumping session by trying to do it every 2 or 3 hours. So I kind of pumped every hour. I didn't pump for tons. I pumped maybe about 10, 15 minutes each hour. You should have seen the guys. They were like, how often do you have to keep doing this? And I'm like, well, I'm doing it a lot more because I'm just being prepared if I got a call. I also didn't limit myself. You can't see it because the rig's not here, but I would take my breast pump with me with a cooler, and I would pump in the back of the ambulance on the way back from a call, not to a call. That'd be a little weird. But I would pump on the way back from the hospital because it was about a 20-minute drive back to the station from the hospital. So I knew if I had my pump with me, I could probably do that. When I was on the engine, I would pump on the way back from a call if it interrupted that hour. And I would, sometimes I would pump. Now when we fought fires, we could be on scenes for 3 or 4 hours. Now fighting fire is definitely very rigorous. It's very physical and draining. And when you're fighting fire, we also get breaks. Every hour we get about a 15-minute break. So during that, I think I hear the engine coming in, so it's gonna get a little loud, guys. Here comes the engine. We're gonna wave at the engine. You guys are gonna see it here in just a minute. I'm definitely gonna give you guys a tour of the back of the engine and the station here in a few minutes. So when we fight fire, we could be on scene for several hours, but we do get some breaks where we have to change our air packs, get our vital signs checked out, and maybe take a 10 or 15-minute break. During those times, I actually would go in the back of the engine and pump. Now, I also, here's my captain. Everyone say hey. Hey. It's Captain Knapp. It's a bunch of breastfeeding moms.
Really?
Yes. He's blushing. You guys give him big hearts for these guys. I see the hearts. Awesome. Way to go, everybody. All right, so pumping when you're working for the fire department, definitely a crazy, different way of doing that. Lots of hearts. Love it, love it. So as I said, I would go and pump in the back of the engine. Now, fighting fire, there's definitely a lot of, look at them, they're trying to like sneak out. They're giving you some love, guys. I would go in and I'd pump, and I would be very dehydrated. So I would pump and pretty much nothing would come out. But I would not focus on that. I'd be up here, not looking down at anything, so that I would know, and I wouldn't know how little I was pumping, but I was still stimulating those breasts, which is very important. Very important. They're making fun of me over here off to the side. Boys will be boys. So pretty much what I'm trying to recommend with that type of breastfeeding journey and story is that don't be limited. Don't limit yourselves to, I can only do this or I can only do that. Find a way to make it work for you. And it could be something as crazy as pumping in the back of an engine on the way back from a call, or pumping in the engine when there's when you have a break in between fighting fire. Do you guys want to come and see the back of the engine really quick? Let me show that to you guys. All right. So I definitely had to have a battery powered breast pump when this was going on. So we're going to jump in the back of the engine. You're going to see, I think I'm going to turn it around. All right. So this is kind of coming in. This is where the firefighter sits in the back. As you can see, we've got our gear right here. We have our jump seat, which has our air pack in the back. And then, as you can see, there's not a lot of room back here, but the captain sits right here through that slat up front, and then the driver is on the other side. So pretty much I would sit, I don't know if you guys can see me, I would sit in the back of the engine and pump on the way back from a call. Now, I would not sit up in the jump seat because, as you can see, the window is kind of right there, and Where's my boobs? Kind of in the same spot. So I would actually, it does look more comfortable than the room you were given, Katie. I don't know what your room was, but it definitely is cushion seats. Whoops. And don't mind me as I drop the phone. As I said, first time doing this. So I would kind of sit down here on the ground and then I would pump here, which, you know, as I said, it wasn't the best situation, but it worked really good for me so that I could keep pumping while I was at work. Other things was that when we were in the station, I told you I worked 24-hour shifts. So where do we sleep? I know that's the next question you guys are asking. I'm going to take you inside so that you can kind of see where we slept. We kind of share rooms. It's not really a private place. And the pumps, as you ladies that are pumping know, are very loud. I kind of make that funny noise of wah-sha, 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 wah-sha. It's very loud at 3 in the morning. So I would, when it came to nighttime, I would not pump in the bunk room. I'm gonna walk into the bunk room here. I think they have the lights off though. As you can see, we have different rooms. I'm gonna turn the lights on, but maybe you can see a little bit. We have bunk rooms, kind of separated by curtains. That's mine, which is really kind of dark, but you can see that one. And as you can see, we have bunk rooms. There's about 6 of us back here. I'll come back out into the light where you guys can see me. So, you know, after 10 o'clock at night, when it's time for everyone to go to bed, I didn't really pump in the bunk room. I would come back out and I would get in the back of the engine or in the back of the rescue and I would pump then, which, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of experts out there that say you shouldn't do that, and, you know, but as I said, you know, there's no rules to breastfeeding. There's no rules in your journey. There's just what works best for you. And that's one of the things that I definitely want to recommend for you guys is that, you know, don't let your situation limit you. You know, find out what works best for you. For me, it was pumping every hour when I was at work if I had time, and it was taking my pump with me on the go, and I would pump in the back of the ambulance or the back of the engine, and I would definitely pump during the night. We work 24-hour shifts, so the reality is we can go to bed, but we can still get a call at any given moment. So once that call comes in, you gotta get up, get everything on, and get out. So I still would pump at night, but I wouldn't do every hour because obviously your baby goes to sleep at night. And at the time, my daughter was about 3.5 months old, and I didn't produce as much milk at night. So I think I would get up about twice during the night and then obviously walk out and get in one of the apparatuses that we have here, and then I would pump. So that's kind of my pumping journey. Now, you're probably wondering, how did the guys react to that? You know what? I included them in my breastfeeding journey, and I empowered them and educated them, and just by sharing things that were important to me and why I wanted to do things I did. And you would be amazed that these guys, they not only became supporters of what I was doing, they became the biggest advocate for women in breastfeeding at work. It has been 11 years since I first came to work breastfeeding for my daughter. I see those hearts, those are awesome. And since then, we have 7 other women on the job who have come back to work and breastfed. And you know who was the one who encouraged them? Other firemen at other stations. They were the ones saying, hey, you're gonna do that pumping thing that Tobi did, right? I mean, you know, she did it and it worked out great. And we hear breastfeeding is good for the baby and breast milk is good for the baby. So I got a bunch of macho firemen to be breastfeeding advocates. So another guidance, I see all those hearts, that's awesome. Oh, Katie, I'm so glad it gives you chills. It gives me chills every time I share that story because it's so important and it's so exciting. And it makes me believe and know that you guys have the ability to go out there and breastfeed and go back to work. I think the light's changing. Let me change. Ooh, that's terrible. You guys have the ability to go out there and share your breastfeeding journey with your coworkers, and bring them in, include them in what you're doing, and you'd be amazed at maybe how supportive they really are. Okay, that's some big hearts. That's another little guideline that I have for you guys. Okay, so how did the milk trays come about? Well, it had everything to do with me being here at work at the fire service and pumping. Lots and lots of pumping. The bags didn't, the nursing bags didn't really work for me, because when you're gone for 24 hours, what happens is you have to thaw a lot of breast milk. And, I saw the guidelines where they said for you to freeze maybe 1 ounce or 2 ounce in a bag. And, me being kind of a logical person, I'm like, well, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Why would I want to do that? So of course I put 4 ounces or 6 ounces in a bag, not knowing that when it came time to thaw that breast milk, those numbers didn't really equal out when it came to the bottles. My husband, I don't want to blame him, but he did, he followed the guidelines. He did the things he was supposed to do. And unfortunately, he thawed more ounces than he needed. The number was actually 10. He thawed 10 more ounces than he was supposed to and had to throw it away. Now, you moms that work 9 to 5, what's going on is probably something similar, but not as large of a quantity. Maybe it's only an ounce or two. But, those ounce or two start to add up, and they could easily be 40 ounces in a month. And you're already, trying to figure pumping at work. We're dehydrated, we're stressed, we're trying to get the right time. I see those tears. When I found out, when I came back home and my husband had thrown away 10 ounces, I thought I was gonna puke. I cried, I bawled, I felt like I was all the way back to my first 2 weeks of breastfeeding, where this is not gonna work. How am I gonna do this? It's not gonna work. If you keep throwing away this hard-earned milk that I fought to get, why am I wasting my time? That's kind of how I felt. So I called a lactation consultant again. She was a lifesaver. So again, those lactation consultants are gonna be someone that is your lifeline. You know how, picture it like this, you're in this pit and you're trying to climb and get up, and there's this hand that comes down and you grab and it pulls you out. That's your lactation consultant, or maybe your mom or your sister or your friend who breastfed and ran into that same situation. Or going to amazing websites like Christy at Breastfeeding Mama Talks. I mean, that information, she's out there and she's sharing it, which is great. I called my lactation consultant, and she said, okay, well, why don't you try not using the bags, freezing your breast milk in an ice cube tray. Not the best, but it's at least, almost 1 ounce servings. And I was like, okay, well, I can try that. And that's what I ended up doing. Yes, Katie, Kelly Mom, also a great place for you guys to, have that assistance, have that, that hand that comes down and I don't know why I'm doing that. The hand that comes down and pulls you up out of that hole that you find yourself in. It was about 11 years ago when I was doing this, so I don't know if there was as much social media as there is now. So definitely you moms have a lot of resources to go to. So the ice cube tray. I used the ice cube tray, and as far as the concept, freezing kind of individually, it did work. But when you're using something for an entire year, those little things that kind of don't work or are an irritation become big things that are an irritation. And what I mean by that is, and I'm going to do a video and share with you guys later, ice cube trays were made for water. Breast milk is a lot more dense than water. So when you would try to flex the tray to get the milk out, instead of it like all popping out like water does, it would not come out. It would not come out, and I would be flexing that tray, and I would dig knives into it to try to get the breast milk out, or I would break the tray. That happened a lot. I would run it under warm water, but there's never an exact number of how long you should do that or how little. So sometimes my breast milk would get a little too warm, and it would over thaw, and then I'd refreeze it, and it would kind of spoil. So, this is going on for almost a year using that system, and I would complain to my husband, not every day, but I would complain, I wish that I like the idea of individual ounces, but I hate the ice cube train, was what I would say. Mine didn't have a lid. I know there's some that have lids now, but the one I used didn't have a lid, so I would use saran wrap and to protect it from like the freezer. And if you didn't get it really tight, that saran wrap would kind of dip down and get into the breast milk, and I would like freak out because it's clear, and then I wouldn't see where the plastic was, so I'd have to throw that ounce away. And again, any ounce thrown from pumping is devastating. So I was complaining to my husband, I hate this tray. So my husband said to me, being another firefighter paramedic, he was like, well, why don't you make a tray that's for breastfeeding or for breast milk? And I said, well, being the, woman that I am, I said, yeah, well then I will make a tray that's specifically for breast milk. And that's kind of how the milk tray kind of came into existence. I knew I needed a tray that had a lid. I knew I needed a tray that would flex and easily get the milk out. And another little part to that story was that my daughter, my first one, Ashlyn, love you, Ashlyn, she was a nipple preferenced baby. I don't know if you moms have ran into that with your children. She preferred a certain nipple. Didn't matter what the bottle was, it mattered what the nipple was. And didn't matter what bottle I wanted, it mattered what nipple she wanted. And the nipple she wanted was one that fit on a narrow mouth open bottle, not a wide. So think of cubes and how big they are. So the milk cubes would not fit into the narrow mouth bottle. So my husband and my mom would put the cubes in one bottle and thaw and then pour into the other bottle, and that for a year was a little stressful for them too. So that was like another thing that they had suggested. They said, can you, if you're gonna make this tray that's gonna be for breast milk, can you make it to where it fits into this bottle? And I said, well, yeah, I can do that, definitely. So the milk tray obviously deals with not just getting the milk out and protecting it from freezer burn, it deals with the shape of the sticks instead of cubes, so it'll fit in any bottle on the market. And that comes from a breastfeeding, pumping, working mom. And that's what makes us so awesome moms that we are, is that we see a problem and I think we can fix it. And I hope, my goal, my wish, my dream is to have all moms use milk trays that are pumping. That might be a big wish, I don't know. I hope it is one day. I hope it comes to fruition, because I think the milk tray deals with the thawing aspect of freezing your breast milk as opposed to the actual freezing. It deals with making the bottle afterwards so that you're only thawing the ounces you need for that bottle instead of wasting all that hard-earned liquid gold breast milk. So I've been so happy to have this first Facebook Live chat post with all of you. I hope it wasn't awful. I hope you guys loved it. I really enjoyed, I see the hearts, thank you so much. I really enjoyed sharing, my struggles in, oh yes, and Katie, it's definitely eco-friendly. I'm glad you brought that up, because you're not throwing away those bags. You're not spending money on bags constantly, and you're not throwing away plastic, which is a big issue, with our ozone layer and global warming. Oh, thanks, Nathan. Thank you so much. Another great thing about your milk trays is that you don't have to use them just for breast milk. You can use them to make homemade baby food. And I'm gonna do a different Facebook Live post about making homemade baby food and let's make this easy and how we already have stuff at home. But I've got moms that are using it for bouillon sticks. I use it because I freeze fruit sticks and I put them in my bottle of water because I suck at drinking water. And there's so many uses for your milk trays besides just your breast milk. But obviously, that's something that we were talking about. Yes, it will flavor your kids' water and make them drink water because we really want them to drink water and be healthy. And we don't want them to want to drink juices. It has so much sugars in them. But yes, so that was my first Facebook Live post. I hope it went really, really good. Jinx, I hope it went really good. I can definitely share more of my... Oh yes, Sherry, I need to get some trays to you. She just had a baby, we need to get some trays to her and some other Milkies products because we have amazing Milkies products out there. But I would love to be able to do more Facebook posts for you guys, share more of my breastfeeding journey, my ups, my downs. We're gonna talk with other moms and share their ups and downs because you know what? Those downs are just speed bumps. They're just speed bumps and you guys can do it. And we are all about Milkies Moms here, Fairhaven Health. We are all about helping you achieve your breastfeeding goals. All right. I love you guys. You are awesome. See you next time. Bye. Oh, shoot, I forgot to say, darn it. If you go on to our website and you type in hashtag FB Live, I think, I might be doing it the right one, FB Live, you will be able to get 10% off any of our Milkies products. Hopefully I said that right. And you know what? I do need to do a giveaway for all. I was talking so much I forgot that I need to do a giveaway. So anyone, whoever is first that comes up and says milk trays, we will send, oh, no hashtag. Oops. It's not hashtag FB Live. It's just FB Live. You can get 10% off any of our Milkies products at mymilkies.com. As well as the first person who posts milk trays, we will make sure you direct message us and you let us know milk trays and we can send you some milk trays for you. And I want to give away also a milk saver to all of our breastfeeding moms. So if you just put in the first person who puts in the word milk saver, we will get one of those out for you as well. I should have did that earlier when we had more people. All right, you live and you learn. Next time it'll be even better. All right, I wish I could have given you a tour of the rescue, but I was able to give you a tour. Hey, Jessica, I see it, milk trays. Those are for you, okay? Now all we need is someone to do milk saver, and then you've got a milk saver headed your way, okay? Who wants the milk saver? Let me see it. I wish I could have given you a tour of the back of the ambulance. Maybe that'll be in my next Facebook Live chat. All right, guys, look for Helen, the other Milkies mom. All right, Katie, you've got milk saver, Katie. Milk saver for you, way to go. Look for Helen Anderson. She is our other Milkies mom and the inventor of the milk saver. She will be doing a Facebook Live post next week. I don't know what day. I should know, but I'm sorry, I don't know what day. All right, I love everybody. I said bye like 3 times. All right, bye.